Welcome back to the 611 postseason edition with your boy Brian Howard, Jimmy Rollins, and we have a special guest on today, someone who's made headlines, although he's chilling watching just like us. He's a two-time
Yeah.
All-Star pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. Let's welcome Logan Webb. Logan,
Yes,
thank you for being here today,
sir.
brother.
What's up, guys? Happy to be on here.
Let's jump into this because as I was covering the NLCS, Blake is just ripping through the playoffs right now. And you were a teammate of his, and although he went down to the evil empire, I'm sure in your eyes, he's still a buddy that you got to share the field with. But it's interesting. What I found interesting is at least that when you guys played together, he's coming off of a Cy Young season, but yet he's still looking to improve, which we all want to get better. But I thought the way that he approached you and the way he explained it, him being a veteran player at the time, and you're a veteran, but he's just more of a veteran, that he comes to you and asks, how are you so successful? Or something along those lines. Can you just run it down how that whole conversation went about?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, one, is I've played with a lot of good players, a lot of good pitchers, and I feel like the best guys are always the guys that are trying to get better in a certain way or figuring something else out that might be new to them. And with Blake, we signed him super late in spring, and I think he got hurt. I don't know, first couple week into the season, 2 weeks into the season. So he was kind of watching, and I think he just, watching me pitch is just a different way than how he pitches. And I've always tried my best to go out there and throw over 100 pitches and throw as many innings as I can. It's just kind of the way, I had Mad Bum and Jeff Samardzija and Johnny Cueto, a lot of guys before me that just did that. And Blake kind of saw that, and I think it was something that he just wanted to get better at. I think he started asking questions like, what's your thought process? What are you thinking about when you're out there? And I think the biggest thing was I just said, dude, you're too good to not be in the zone at all times. He's a 6'5", 6'6" lefty throwing high 90s with unbelievable stuff. I was like, I think you can get outs. I think you can still get as many strikeouts as you do, but just be, maybe attacking the zone a little bit more. And I think that was kind of, in his eyes, that was the one thing that he wanted to get better at. I mean, there's not much that he's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, so it's, but it was fun to see him kind of really embrace that and really try to keep getting better at that. And you see it right now when he's pitching. Like, he's going deep into games, and I think people were talking, he had never thrown a complete game before. I think he'd pitched into the 8th inning like once or twice. And I think it's just something that he wanted to prove people wrong. And he's done it. I mean, it's fun for me to watch. It's not fun for me to watch him do it for the Dodgers. As a teammate or a former teammate of his, and a guy that I truly just love him, and it's cool to see him do his thing.
Webb, you mentioned Samardzija and Bumgarner and those guys, and Cueto and those guys. So I mean, obviously you were picking their brains. Was that something they taught you more so about, like being able to be in the zone and pitching more in the zone? Being able to go further in the games?
Yeah, I think honestly, it started in the minor leagues. I think with the Giants in general, they pitching is always the biggest thing. And I was taught real early that it's 100 pitches and it's try to get 6 innings every single time. And then I got up to the big leagues in 19, and all those guys were there. And I think all of them threw 200 innings that year, and it was fun to watch. And I just thought, I had Boch as my manager too. It didn't matter if I gave up 8 runs and it's the 3rd inning, I'm throwing 100 pitches, like no matter what. And that was, I really bought into that. And, even in the minor leagues, we do charting. I remember charting all the time, and we'd do like 3 pitches or less. And I just I wanted to be the best at doing that. And some of my favorite guys, I mean, I didn't necessarily get to watch them. I was too young, but I've watched a lot of their games and seen highlights. But like Greg Maddux, guys like Roy Halladay, guys that just pitch deep in the games. And I've never been a guy that threw hard, so and neither were those guys that I came up with. Bum didn't throw very hard. Shark threw pretty hard, but and Johnny. So it was picking their brains about how they get outs. I think outs are outs. I think that's the biggest thing. Doesn't matter if it's a strikeout or the first pitch out. And I think that's what I told Blake. He wanted to be like that, because I think with his stuff, I think he can get an out on any pitch that he throws in the zone, and it seems like he's fully bought into that.
Jimmy, you noticed he said Roy Halladay and Greg Maddux, two dudes out there that was making that ball dance. Webby got that. Hey, Webby got that sneaky. He got that sneaky weaky.
Especially in today's game, because it's so much about velocity, spin rate, etc. Where I still think the most important piece of it is pitchability.
Yeah.
The axis, up, it's a strike until it's not. It's diving to one corner, it's moving, it's setting up pitches. Your velocity can increase by setting the batter up, by getting them off speed, playing that plus minus in and out game. How has that helped you in your career, and to be able to become a 2-time All-Star, pitch 200 innings the last couple of years with pitchability, and not necessarily here's 5 innings of 100 plus and whatever happens, happens?
Yeah, I mean, going back to the guys I pitched with, I think just I always tell you, I was taught this when I first came up. Jeff Samardzija was like, ask as many questions as you need, and go around and ask everyone. So I did. I asked questions to hitters, to other pitchers, and I've just kept doing that. I got to pitch with Justin Verlander this year. I got to pitch with Blake, Robbie Ray. I mean, there's a lot of Cy Young winners in that group. So I just try to pick their brains, and it's fun for me to. There's so many analytics nowadays that'll tell you, hey, throw this pitch in this spot or throw this pitch in this spot. And most of the time it's right. But you also have to have like the baseball element to it as well, the human element. And that's one thing with JV this year that I got to see is like reading swings, reading takes.
Yes.
If a lefty takes a pitch up and in, like he might try to trick you. Like it's either this way or he's going this way. Like there's so many different things that you can learn. I just keep trying to, like I said, just keep asking questions and keep trying to, I think the biggest thing is just staying a student of the game at all times. That's going back to with Blake and everything. I think the best guys that I've been around are always the guys that are trying to get a little bit better.
No, I love that, man. I love the fact that you were talking to JV and was going to ask you, like, what was the one piece of advice that he could give you, being able to pitch alongside of him and being able to learn. And I think it's so key being able to watch guys swings and do all that stuff. I remember in spring training, Jay, when we were playing them, he was with the Tigers and he struck me out in spring training or whatever. And the next time, I get my foot down early.
Yeah.
I got my foot down and I hit a home run in spring training. He came and started doing his running. He's like, yeah, you got that foot down early.
He probably saw it too. That's, he
saw it. He
for sure did. I think one of the biggest things with JV, it was actually really cool. At the end of the year, not cool. I had a pretty bad game late in the year against the Dodgers. That was pretty frustrating. Kind of down on my luck. I was, pretty mad about it. And I asked JV, like, what do you got for me? What can you help me with something? He was like, been around you all year. We had a friend for life. I learned a lot from him, and he was like, the one thing I noticed is that, and this is something that might be different with starting pitching nowadays, but he was like, when you give up a run in the second inning it's almost like the end of the world. Like you get mad about it, this and that. He's like, as a starting pitcher, you're going to give up runs. That's going to happen. And the less you care about the 1 run that you might have gave up in the second, or maybe it's 2 runs sometime, maybe it's 3 runs, but just knowing that your job isn't necessarily to make it a 0 every single inning, and knowing that you might give up runs, but you're going to be able to go deeper into games. You're going to stay in the game longer. You're going to keep the team in the game longer. Sometimes you might give up 4 in the first, but then you end up going 6 or 7 and you kept your team in the game and you guys win 5-4, 6-4 at the end of the game. So hearing that, he was like, you're not a relief pitcher. It's not your job to go out there and throw up 7 zeros every single time. If you do, it happens. And he was like, I've thrown, I forget how many games he started. He's like 700, whatever it is, something crazy. He was like, how many games do you think I gave up 0 runs? And I'm like, that's a great question. I think
Great question.
It was like 30 to 40. And he's like, think about that. So it's learning that from him has been huge.
That's a great mental piece, because I know as position players, we've never considered the starting pitcher to be a 0-0 ERA type of guy. That's the closer. That's the setup guy that they come in, they give up nothing. We just always ask, and I'm glad that he put it that way, and you're sharing that with us. And for the audience and young starters that are out there, your job is not to come back with a 0 every inning. It's impossible. Those guys on the other side, they're good also. They're going to get some hits. You're not going to be perfect with every single pitch, and sometimes we'll be able to capitalize on that. But keeping your team in the ball game, that's all I cared about. Don't, like you said, don't give up 1 and let that 1 turn into 6 or 7. Like, bro, you were right there, and we can see it unraveling. So for you just to come up, to go up and ask that and take that information, like, yes, that's right. My job is to pitch, to keep my team in the ball game, to give them a chance to score some runs and us to get the win. And if you're doing that, you'll build that camaraderie and confidence in the players also. Like, we love when this guy's on the mound because he's going to give us a chance. He's not worried about the leadoff home run. Okay. And then, like you said, then you get the rest of the guys out. Okay. Now we have a chance to get up and do something. So that's great knowledge that you gave off there, that JV has passed you and that you've given to us. And speaking of knowledge, I want to switch speeds a little bit. A new hire that you guys have. Now, let me ask you this. How many managers have you had in your career thus far?
This will be my 4th manager now.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Peace, how many you have?
3.
3. And what, 15?
3.5.
3.5. 3.5. I had
it was Bo when I first came up, Charlie for the majority,
right.
Right. And then Pete
McCann. So you have 4, and so it's almost
4.
like every other year,
because I got like half the first Bo was a call up. That was a September call up.
Right. That Tito was my September call up. I know it's kind of messed up because you have to count on.
Bochy was my. I only had him for a month and a half.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So like every other year, basically, you get a new manager. It seemed like.
Unfortunately, yeah, it has been like that for the past.
It's like the Chicago Bears and the quarterback situation here.
Yeah. Wait, I want to touch on that real quick because how tough is that from you guys from a standpoint, from a team standpoint, right? Because every manager comes in has their own philosophy in terms of what they want to do from an organization, from a team standpoint. So how tough is that, for the team and potentially the camaraderie of the team?
Yeah, those personalities of
Yeah, we were just getting used to this guy and starting to either look to try to buy in, and now you just got rid of him, and now you're bringing somebody else in. So it's like, how tough is that on you guys as a player?
I think it was. It might have been tough the last time when Kapler was with us, and then we switched to Bo Mill, and it was just I would say
180.
Yeah, it was definitely it was different. It was very different
for sure.
And I think with this one, it won't be as different. I think looking at our roster, we got Rafael Devers, Willie Adames, Chapman, who haven't been here too long. So it's like going to a new team anyways, which they did.
Good point.
But yeah, it was for me being here the whole time during all that. It was definitely It was definitely different. I think the biggest thing, and I'm not speaking for Buster, but I just think he wants some, continuity, and he really liked this guy. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of see it with all the, videos of him. I know. Did you guys ever see that Drew Gilbert, the video of him like chewing on a guy's sleeve and
I have not. I
I
have
have
not.
not. No.
getting choked out after he hits a homer? It's just it's crazy. But I think he just kind of he saw that in Tony, and I think as players we're all excited.
As you should be. I mean, he's been successful. Led was the University of Tennessee to their first championship in however many years. He looks the part. I mean, when I
Mhm.
think of a San Francisco Giant and a manager, he looks like a giant. I mean, the flow, the dark beard, though it's a little shadowy, but it just, I'm like in the uniform. One, I have to admit this. I'm from the East Bay, but those giant cream uniforms, sickest hands down. And I've always loved them. And to see him, in the uniform, he just looks the part. And as you talked about, you guys, very, very interesting that you guys have a lot of new players. The Devi situation, Willie coming over signing. So if you're going to change managers, it is a great time. You have guys that are going to be there for a while, and hopefully, Tony gets to stick around for a while to create this culture. And you came up when Giant culture was really coming off of its prime, and it's a
Yeah.
Mhm.
reset. But you guys aren't far away. You got a hitter, you got a 30 home run guy, and Willie, which hasn't happened since Bonds has been there. Pitching, as you said, has always been a strong suit. Now it's just getting that culture back, that winning way, that Giant way, and this is the guy that's slated to do that. So I hope it works out. I really does. Going from college to the big leagues is a huge jump,
Yeah.
but we've seen guys, and although it wasn't a straight jump, like I have an affinity for Pat Murphy, who I was his first recruit that he signed to Arizona State. But what they do over at Milwaukee, where it's like they're playing baseball, real baseball,
Mhm.
not hero
Mhm.
ball, not number ball. They understand the numbers, but let's go back to playing baseball. How do you think that works with you guys and the talent with what you guys have with the Giants?
Yeah, I feel like I've heard it a lot this postseason, talking about teams, and a lot of the team. It says a lot of the teams take on the personality of their manager,
Mm-hmm.
and it is true. I feel like watching the Dodgers, I feel like they take on Dave's personality. The Brewers were unbelievable all season, and those guys were grinders. It was
Mm-hmm.
not fun facing those guys, and I think that's kind of what Buster sees. I think that's what we're going to try to do. I think not saying that we didn't have a lot of energy last year, but it felt like there was a lull at times, and I feel like this guy's going to bring the energy as much as he can. Everyone I've talked to about him has said it's nonstop. Obviously, it's a little different. It's not 60 games. It's 162
Mm-hmm.
games.
Right.
It's if we get it'll be interesting because we you never want to lose, but in the big leagues it happens sometimes, right? You lose a game 12-0 in May, like
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get your ass kicked every once in a while. So,
Yeah, it
uh,
happens.
but the big thing is not letting it kind of trickle and keep going. And I think with Tony, he's going to be a guy that is not going to allow that to happen. I think he's going to hold us to a high standard. Definitely is going to be a transition for him because it is different. I didn't play college baseball, so I don't know for sure. But you watch stuff and you hear stuff, and I play with a lot of guys that played in college baseball, so you hear these stories, and it's very different. And I don't think it'll be easy from the get go, but I'm excited. And I think he's super excited, which is a big thing as well.
I think, Jimmy, to what you were saying about Pat, coming in and you see these guys, I think that's probably going to be, somewhat similar in the Giants organization with Tony. Like look, Tony reminds me kind of like my old college coach. my man, shout out Keith Gutton, Missouri State. Short. Tony's Italian, so you know he's going to be fiery, and he's going to be that dude. He's going to be that dude. He's going to be a player's coach, I think, in the point to where he's going to stand up for his players.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to be that dude. And like we said, that's the most important thing is like when you have that manager that stands up for his players and goes out there and fires. That's one thing I saw with him at Tennessee. Is like he stood up for his players. Like, I mean, he might have gotten tossed out of more games. I don't even know how many games, but it looked like every time he went out to go talk to the umpire, for the most part, he's going to get tossed out. You know, we've all had those managers like in minor leagues where it's like, oh, is he going to get tossed out right now? It's like, but I think that we may see more of that. But it's been fun actually watching the game go back to that, to where you have teams playing more baseball, like with the Brewers and what the Brewers were able to do over the course of the season, what the Blue Jays have been able to do over the course of the season throughout the playoffs, playing baseball in certain times, because now we know with pitching, guys like Logan, guys like Snell, like all these guys out here, the pitching is so good. You've got to figure out ways to manufacture runs. And then we go back to what we always remembered. What did we have coming up in the minor leagues? Every team had their own way. Coming up in the Phillies organization, we had the Philly way. There's the Giants way. So now you get back to playing whatever your brand of baseball is and get away from the carbon copy that everybody is doing right now, which I think will make for a better product all the way across the league when teams go back to saying, okay, hey, we're the San Francisco Giants. Here's how we're going to play.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that that's going to be fun to kind of see. And I think that's probably what Tony's going to bring to the table.
Yeah, I think for sure with I came up and there was a giant way to everything we did. It was still Buster, Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt. I was with Bum for a little bit. Quite like I could keep going on, but there was a lot of guys that there was a certain way that we played. There was a certain way that we carried ourselves, and then all those guys left. And I think for a little while we were trying to figure out who we were, and it didn't really work out. I think we did some things different ways, and now that we have a good core of guys that are going to be here for a long time. Like for a while there, it was really just me who was on a contract, so I was kind of the only one that I knew I was going to be here next year. So now having this core group of guys and bringing a guy like Tony, where we can, I think the first day of spring when everyone gets together and the manager and the either GM or in our case President Buster gives a speech, and we talk about how we want to be as a team, and exactly like the identity. This is how we're going to do things, right? And setting that standard, that culture, that first day, I think is so important. I think we're gonna get to that. I really do. I believe in Buster, and I think he sees the vision with Tony here. So it's gonna be fun to see.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, Webby. So we have a part of the show that we like to call, it's our Banana Boat segment, the ritual segment, brought to you by Banana Boat. I can't even speak right now.
Are you superstitious? Right. We got you, bro. We got you.
Right. Are you superstitious? Do you have any rituals that you like to perform?
Honestly, I think starting pitchers have to be the worst with that, just because it's one day. It's one day. I always tell guys I'm a fan of a team that gets to participate 33 times a year, which is it sounds crazy, but it's true. I get to, and so that one day it's I'm not super like, I think the old school way of things was like, don't look at me, don't talk to me. I don't want to, you're just angry all day. And there are still some guys like that. I definitely think the older guys are still like that. But for me, I try to, I'm locked in, but I want to still talk to guys. I want to treat it somewhat normal. I tried the, don't look at me, headphones. But there's still so many things. Like I start when I get to the field, it's like I start everything at the same time each time, each start. I drink I drink 3 Red Bulls a day I pitch, which is not healthy, but it's at exactly the same time. Like the minute I get to the field, 2 hours before and then 1 hour before. I think that's probably my biggest one, is probably the Red Bulls, but there's so much different things. And you guys probably had similar stuff, but like I put my shoes on the same way each time. I tied my right shoe first, then my left shoe. And then it's so many different things that it's exhausting, honestly.
Hey, look, but I love how I went from, no, I don't have too many, and then, but I have this, I have that.
I have all these. You're right. I have all these.
Hey, but it's really what it takes to get your mind right. You have to get your mind right. As you said, you get to participate in 33 games in that way. So we understand you have to get your mind right. So everyone has a ritual, which is, we want to be specific and clear. This is different from a superstition. It's just a thing that we do to put ourselves in the right mind frame to go and execute the game plan that we have that day. So, but that banana boat ritual segment, it's funny how it always is extended from no, but.
Right. This is what I do. Right.
You're right. I didn't realize it was that bad until I started talking about
it. None of us do.
Yeah,
None of us do.
Exactly. Well, Logan, we appreciate you, man, for coming on the show, giving some insight, obviously, to Blake and his performances that he's had in the playoffs, and what you partook upon him to go out there and not be afraid to throw the ball in the zone. That goes for any kid out there. Don't be afraid to throw the ball in the zone, because as much as we like to hit, we're going to miss a lot and make a lot of outs. It's about getting outs. It's about being effective. The more effective you are, the longer you go in games. And we're seeing it, on the biggest stage right now. And although I'm sure you probably feel like he traded on you a little bit, going down south, and now you got to face him. But that's ball. That's ball.
Yep. Yeah. No, I'm excited for him, and it's like the old saying, right? It's like the best hitters ever were successful 3 out of 10 times. So seven of the 10 times you're getting them out, and that's that'll always stay true.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Logan, thank you for taking some time to sit with us on the 611. To let us know about the conversation you had with Blake, give us some pitching insight that you received, and to the young guys that are out there and young ladies out there, don't be afraid to throw the ball in the zone. You heard it from one of the best. He's a 2-time All-Star, 200 innings, trying to get back to that giant way. So, Logan, we really appreciate you having us take up some of your time before we get ready to watch this World Series and your boy Blake take on Game 1.
Yep. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
No doubt.